This is Matt for Into Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Eddie Hearn. Eddie, we're here for a monumental occasion. Eubank Jr, Conor, Benn. Some form of trilogy from back in the day that's happened with the dads. Did you ever think we'd get to this point?
No, I mean, I'm looking around. I've never seen anything like this, to be honest with you, and shows you the size of the event. Yeah. You know, the coverage of this event, the anticipation for the event. Conor's here looking in tremendous shape. Eubank Jr arriving shortly. It's got everything. You know, like you say, it is Eubank Benn 3, two great fights. There should have been a Eubank Benn 3. Yeah, there wasn't, but now we got it, and can't wait for Saturday.
What have you made of the build-up to this fight? It's been, I think I've never seen Junior hold court as well as he has done throughout this.
I've got to be honest, I think Junior's come across really well in this fight, and they both have. There's such a brilliant mix, just like their fathers. You know, you've got the young lion like Conor Benn, and then you've got the protagonist in Eubank Sr. You know, and I think ultimately they work so well together. Like the face-to-face, our numbers are off the chart. You know, make the days count, our numbers are off the chart. They just, sometimes you get two fighters together that just work perfectly. They're not out there trying to work perfectly, but they just do. And, you know, I think this week's going to be brilliant. I think it's going to get bigger and bigger. Wednesday is the day for the BBC documentary. And I've seen it. It's unbelievable. So, you know, the show's going to get bigger and bigger.
In terms of all the fights you put on, we touched on it the other day at the Matchroom gym, and we talked about the motivation and the hard work, the effort. Is this the biggest one?
It's right up there. I mean, someone asked me that today, and obviously Froch Groves 2 was a big turning point for the sport. Joshua Klitschko the same. Even Canelo against Billy Joe, you know, and Taylor Serrano. But there's something really special about this fight where I see them, like Conor's a yard to my left, and I think, I can't believe you're fighting Eubank on Saturday. Yeah. Because when he turned pro, everyone always talked about it, right? And I thought, no chance. He's a welterweight, he's a middleweight, and to think we're 5 days away, it's unbelievable. And when they meet in the middle of the ring, like, yeah, and just the, you know, the hairs standing up on your arm and your neck, and it's unbelievable.
Not just that, but you talked about his debut. Did you forget the weight difference? But did you ever think he'd get there from that debut?
Because he was so limited as an amateur when he turned pro. You know, we put him on the biggest stage at the O2. He was all over the place. And, you know, I've watched him progress as a fighter, work so hard. Tony Sims has done an unbelievable job, and now he's a world-class welterweight. And now he's stepping up to fight another world-class middleweight. So I never expected, well, one, this fight to happen, but really even necessarily for Conor to be boxing at these levels. And that's really down to him and his hard work.
Is that where the advantage lies in this? He's on such a trajectory, as in it's absolutely skyrocketing. Does he have the sort of advantage coming through in terms of the form he's in comparison with Eubank Jr.'s performances?
Yeah, I think he's definitely in great form. Look, Eubank's coming off a good win against Liam Williams. Looked okay. I just wonder how much Eubank wants it now. He'll want it more in this fight, you know, but he's 32, I believe. You know, he's made a lot of money, but this is kind of like more about pride. This kid is an animal. He wants it so bad, so bad. He's willing to go through whatever it takes to win. And Eubank's super tough. He's got a great chin. And like when you talk about the family names and what you're going to see in the build-up this week, you're just going to see neither men take a step back, you know, and it's going to be vicious.
Talk to me about Senior's comments. Comments resurfaced. I'm not sure how recent they were, but I think it was on the podcast with Spencer Fearon. He talked about the 3 pounds in weight, how it's not good for people's brain and stuff like that. What do you make of Senior's comments? I know he's not the one signing the contract to get in the ring, but what do you make of it week of fight week?
I think that he's very stubborn. So when he gets something in his head, he isn't prepared to let it go, you know. So and he'll carry on at pace. So this is his new thing, and I think he'll carry on all week, and then he'll probably pop up at the O2 on Saturday. You know, but you can't say that this is dangerous for Junior. Then Junior's out there eating burgers and, you know, and this and that. So this is dangerous for Conor Benn. He's moving from 147 to 157. This is a dangerous situation for him to be in, and this is a dangerous sport.
Has he put himself at a bit of a sticky end? Because if he misses weight after all these videos, he's going to look stupid.
He might miss weight, but again, he would look silly. But we'll have to see.
Right, I want to talk to you. We won't go about Fury, Joshua, just yet. I want to talk to you about Jake Paul. Amanda Serrano was out the other week, and I asked her, do you want the Katie Taylor rematch? Obviously, things surfaced that yourself weren't happy with some of the comments Jake had made in an interview. How disappointed are you with how that relationship's taken a complete cliff dive off in terms of the work he did together to promote the biggest female fight in history to now where we're at now with we want to see that rematch?
We can see the rematch. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, some silly comments were made that he was asked to apologise for. He wouldn't. and we weren't prepared to let it lie. So that's now in the hands of the courts in America. There's nothing to do about the Katie Taylor-Serrano fight. He should always want to deal in the best interest of his client. I mean, we have 2 fights for Amanda Serrano. We have the other world champion in her weight class, so she can't be undisputed without making a deal with us for Cruz Hernandez. And then we have Katie Taylor. Now, the payday for Katie Taylor is 4 or 5 times that of Erica Cruz, and hopefully we can get both fights made, or certainly one of them. But the door is always open to talk about those fights, and we'll see how it progresses in the courts.
I saw something on Instagram. Adrian Broner put up a post the other day revealing messages that you'd sent him. I think it must have been back in April when he was coming back, a deal for Montana Love and Conor Benn. Any more communication with Adrian since obviously he's decided to pull out from his fight with Figueroa? Have there any talks?
No, we talk all the time. Well, I say all the time. Every now and again he comes up and he disappears, and the text that he posted, which he's done twice now, was correct.
You're worried now.
But it was true. 2.5 million to fight Conor and 2 million to fight Montana Love. Massive money. Yeah. But he didn't want it, and we'll see.
Have you anyone else on the stable or roster that you could find him a fight for? Are you wanting to work with Adrian, or is this a case?
It depends what weight he fights at. If he was at lightweight, light welter, light middle. I mean, the answer is we've got a huge roster. We've got many fighters to fight him, and there was 2 of them just there. But he needs to get back in the ring.
Absolutely. Now, I know you didn't want to talk about this, but I've got to ask you because I'd be stupid. This is the event that we're focusing on.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's just like it becomes so boring that people get tired of hearing about it. I have to respond to what people have said, and I will. And I'll never tell you can't ask me a question on that. But at the end of the day, I don't want people to lose faith with boxing and lose faith with AJ Fury. So we're here.
Well, coming on to that, what I will say is I spoke to Anthony the day before last, and I said whether this fight happens or not, do you look at this scenario of positive communications between Matchroom and Queensbury, Eddie and George, and say, you know what, the Buatsi fight should be easier to make than when it would in a bygone year? And he said, absolutely, they don't. Anthony Yard. So I would ask him the question, do you not see this as a positive for him? Anthony Yard, saying, do you not think it's a positive that communication between him and Buatsi could happen and that fight potentially get made? He said yes. But you've come out and said this is off now completely.
I didn't say that. Is it not? I didn't say it's off completely. I said that Tyson Fury has set a deadline and a final deadline. And those deadlines have passed, okay? Now, we haven't really spoke to Queensbury since, I think, Thursday of last week. I haven't spoke to George Warren since, I think, Wednesday night or maybe Thursday morning. And it's not their fault, by the way. But we just presume that because this was the final deadline that we missed, and because Derek Chisora has been offered the fight and has a contract, that we're no longer in play. If we're still in play, we're happy to carry those talks on. But also at the same time, what we're not prepared to do is to have this guy keep saying to AJ, sign it today or you've missed your opportunity, you shouldn't be getting this opportunity. At some point, the guy's going to turn around and go, nah.
Yeah. But going through this, you've always said it's Tyson giving the deadline, but not the promoter, because all the way through this, even Frank's comments have been more than positive about yourselves and Matchroom. So surely it's a case of let's just see how far this goes from your point of view.
Again, we've not heard back since Thursday, I think, of last week. I think it was the last time I called George Warren. I've not heard from him since. No criticism of him, by the way. It's been fantastic. But I don't see them proactively, we've got to go back. There was a problem with, one of the big problems, again, I don't want to get too far into it, the split of the money. So ultimately, Queensbury can make the final decision on everything around the show, including a revenue source. They wanted to appoint an arbitrator, and they wanted to appoint their partner, IMG, as an arbitrator, which is like, but again, no one really understands that, so it's not like, and at the end of the day, we've not had any calls yesterday going, look, let's try and get this back going. As far as AJ's concerned, it's more or less like, that's the second deadline, tell him to fuck off. So
you've always said though as well that you work for AJ, don't work for you.
You just saw one with Gareth Davis there.
Yeah, he made it out.
But because when Bob Arum or Gareth Davis said, I think it's Eddie Hearn's fault, he's stopping the fight. Yeah. You don't understand how a fight works. Anthony Joshua got offered terms, he accepted. He wanted that fight. We moved forward, tried to make the fight. I can never say to AJ, don't take the fight or stop the fight with Queensbury. Ultimately, it's got to be right for Anthony Joshua. This is a guy who's owned his own show for years and years. He's prepared to be the B-side in a fight. and we've taken terms which we don't necessarily agree with, but unfortunately we reached a stumbling block and we weren't able to get there on their deadlines.
Why is it when all this is happening though, either Bob Arums or someone or like Gareth, and we've seen you go back and forth a bit, why is it always gets sort of labelled at you?
Easy thing to do. Bob, let me tell you about Bob Arums. 3 weeks ago when he was over for the Clarissa Shields fight, he said there is absolutely no chance this fight happens. Yesterday he said everything is done, apparently everything is done, it's just me. If you ask Bob Arums what day it was today, I don't believe he would get the answer correct. Also, on another hand, Bob Arums has been on no email, no phone call, no Zoom call at any time during this entire process. So all of a sudden, he's the guy who knows exactly what's happening in this situation. A load of it is bollocks, a load of it is Chinese whispers. The main people in this situation is myself and George Ryan, Frank Smith, our lawyers, Queensberry's lawyers. That's the group of people that have been dealing with this fight.
Well, let's move away from that. Who would AJ potentially fight then, if not? And Joe Joyce has piped up and said that, but then Frank made a good point and said, why don't you fight Fury?
That's why he said that, because do you not understand how this game works? I come out and say Tyson Fury's looking for a fight. Fight Joe Joyce. No, the date don't work, we'll fight AJ instead. Come on, how thick have you got to be not to see through that? Tyson Fury's not going to fight a Joe Joyce. I don't even think he wants to fight an Anthony Joshua right now. He wants to fight Derek Chisora or Manuel Charr. Okay, and we'll see. You'll see who he fights.
We've got a huge Australian show coming up. Let's just touch on that. How excited? I know it's a territory you've been wanting to go into for a while. We spoke about it some months ago. Some big names on the card. Sky Nichols is on the card. It's another sort of milestone, I think, for Matchroom. Are you looking forward to it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great card. I mean, Pyro Jarvis is a great fight for Australian boxing. 22-0 against 20-0. Dempsey McKean, looking for a big fight in the heavyweight division. Sky Nicholson going for her first title. Great fight as well between Tapia and Mayweather. Loads of undefeated fighters on the card. It's a really important territory because there's so many big shows happening in Australia at the moment, and it's a market that's important to us. So Sunday we'll be making the long flight there. I think I'll get there about Thursday or something, time I get there, and then we've got Mexico the week after. So a big week for us in Brisbane. Also big week ahead with Benn Eubank.
Well, looking forward to it. You can see all that on DAZN. Look, Eddie, thanks for talking to Into Boxing. I appreciate your time.